All right, so there have been fast-paced developments in the state of Jammu and Kashmir, and this, of course, remains our big focus. Before we dwell into the details, we'd also like to reiterate to our viewers that there are a lot of speculations and rumors that are doing the rounds as to what is happening in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. Do not pay heed to those rumors and speculations, because until the government comes out and states in no uncertain terms, in categorical terms, that this is what is unfolding, it is not right to pay heed to these rumors. We'll keep our reportage completely fact-based, and let's start with what has been happening so far. Now, the cabinet meeting is currently underway at the Prime Minister's residence in New Delhi. This comes even as Section 144 has been imposed in the Kashmir Valley. All educational institutions in Srinagar remain shut until further orders. Now, mobile and internet services have been snapped in parts of the state, and the political leaders, including the former chief ministers Mehbooba Mufti and Umar Abdullah, have been placed under house arrest. There's a complete bar on holding any kind of public meeting or rally during the period of operation of this order. Now, the federal cabinet is all set to meet in New Delhi to assess the law and order situation in the state.
सिक्योरिटी सिनेरियो को देखते हुए डिस्ट्रिक्ट उधमपुर में सेक्शन 144 सीआरपीसी के तहत 4 या 4 से ज्यादा लोगों के मूवमेंट पे रिस्ट्रिक्शन लगाई गई है। मैं आपके माध्यम से लोगों को अपील करना चाहूंगा, किसी तरह का पैनिक ना करें। ये एक जस्ट प्रिकॉशनरी स्टेप है, और इसके साथ साथ जितने भी स्कूल कॉलेजेस हैं उनमें भी, चाहे वो गवर्नमेंट है प्राइवेट है, उनमें भी क्लासरूम वर्क सस्पेंडेड रहेगा। और एक ये प्रिकॉशनरी स्टेप है, तो उसमें कोई पैनिक करने की जरूरत नहीं है। हम एज एंड व्हेन सिचुएशन डिमांड करेगी उस तरीके से उसको रिएक्ट करेंगे।
Ahead of this crucial cabinet meet, Home Minister Amit Shah also chaired a meeting with officials in New Delhi yesterday. Amit Shah met with the National Security Advisor, the Intelligence Bureau Chief, amongst others. Now, the meeting, of course, came as a massive security build-up in the Kashmir Valley has taken place. Now, intelligence reports had indicated that terrorists have made multiple infiltration attempts into India between the 29th and the 31st of July. Now, some reports also indicate that the infiltrators were attempting to launch a Pulwama-style terror attack, and tourists and Amarnath Yatris have been asked to leave immediately amidst fears that they potentially could be the targets of these terrorists. Now, remember, on Saturday, about 5 men belonging to Pakistan's border action team had been killed while they were trying to infiltrate into India and strike at an army post in the nearby Kiran sector. On Sunday, about 15 hand grenades had been recovered from this same area. A team of security personnel searched the spot after an explosion took place inside of a shop. Now, the explosion led to the death of a local resident. And also, the massive security build-up has triggered rumors in the Kashmir Valley about the possible government move on Article 35A. However, the state's Governor Satyapal Malik has dismissed any such rumors, calling all media reports as nothing more than rumor mongering.
It's normal. Only rumor mongering is going on. It's a very routine thing here. Unnecessary panic is being created by some vested interests, and especially some political parties. Otherwise, there is nothing new.
All right, so that was the Governor of Jammu and Kashmir, Satyapal Malik, stating their unnecessary panic is being created and that no one needs to pay heed to any rumours and speculations that are presently doing the round. Meanwhile, our correspondent Ishan Vani has sent us this ground report. Take a look.
Curfew-like restrictions have been imposed in parts of Kashmir Valley. Now, there were additional forces that were brought into the Kashmir Valley, given the fact that there could be a challenge to the law and order. There's an important cabinet meeting that is going to be chaired some time from now, and you can see from behind me, there are security forces have been deployed in every nook and corner, and they aren't allowing any person to move ahead. Special curfew passes have been issued to the health employees and also other essential services so that they don't get hit. At the same time, mobile internet connectivity, landlines, even the mobile phones have no network at all. Security forces have been provided with the special satellite phones. The higher authorities have also had difficulty in communicating with each other, and that is why satellite phones have been brought into the Kashmir Valley. The security forces that were brought in the Kashmir Valley are being put in place in different nook and corners of the Kashmir Valley. The announcement is being made on the vehicles of the police and CRPF that nobody is allowed to move out of their houses. Authorities yesterday said the Section 144 CRPC is in place, and that is people people should not come out of their houses. Schools are also shut. So difficult situation in the Kashmir Valley. But we'll have to wait and watch at what unfolds in the next 24 hours. With the Empress and Feroz Sharmani for WION World is One.
All right, so that is what the situation is like on ground zero in Srinagar. And to add more perspective and to discuss as to what is in fact playing out in this big unfolding story that we are tracking, we are joined in by my colleague Siddhant Sibal, who's joining us live from New Delhi. We also have our senior political affairs editor Kartikeya Sharma, who's joining us from our newsroom. Now, Siddhant, let me come to you first. This of course, is a very, very important issue. We know for a fact that the cabinet meeting is presently underway. And at this point of time, you know, has the government said anything at all as to what is being discussed within that cabinet meeting?
Well, no word from the government here in New Delhi, but we know that the Cabinet Committee of Security is meeting, and we do expect a lot of announcement, including the fact that the Home Minister, the Indian Home Minister Amit Shah, will be in the Parliament at 11 a.m. He is likely to make a statement. We know a lot of action has taken place by the government in Jammu and Kashmir before announcement of a crucial decision. Nobody knows what the crucial decision is, but there are speculation right now taking place. In fact, speculation have been doing rounds for a long time now. We know the entire development started on 2nd of August when the government announced that the Amarnath Yatra will be halted, it will be cancelled, and all the tourists were asked to leave the state. And after that, we saw there were travel advisories by countries such as Israel, UK, Germany, and Australia. Israel Counter-Terror Department coming out with a special warning of a terror attack. We know that there are intelligence reports that a Pulwama-style attack could take place, but it seems that all started because of Trump's statement as well,
right,
because that emboldened Islamabad to take some kind of action that could lead to a strong Indian reaction, and Islamabad is keen to have Americans mediate in the region, especially in the backdrop of the Afghan peace talk. We have seen not once but twice statement coming over the weekend from Islamabad linking the Afghan peace process with situation at the LOC. So clearly situation remains precarious in the valley and in the state, especially along the LOC.
Absolutely indeed, Siddhant. Do continue to stay on with us. And Kartikeya, let me bring you in on this. Now, we're given to understand that Amit Shah is expected to make a statement on the floor of the House. And besides this, the BJP, we're given to understand, has also issued a whip for the 5th and the 7th. So what does this mean? Is the government probably looking to bring in a legislation so far as Jammu and Kashmir is concerned?
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, this is something very important. You see, this is a notice which has been given by the Parliamentary, the office of the chairman. You know, let me read this out to you. This is a Parliamentary bulletin, Rajya Sabha. It says that the members are informed that, as decided by the Honourable Chairman, who also happens to be the Vice President, Venkaiah Naidu, due to some urgent legislative business on 5th, which is today, Monday, the matter to be raised with permission, 0-hour submission, will be taken up after the completion of the legislative business listed for the day. Which means that the government will first give a statement, then legislate, and then it will allow people to ask questions. Which means that there is something of critical importance that the government will be legislating in next 48 hours. We will not speculate what is that which the government wants to legislate, but the legislation will take place because Rajya Sabha has been informed. Now, if Rajya Sabha has been informed of legislation, it means that the legislation will also take place in the Lok Sabha. So, before the members of opposition can say or ask anything, a matter of great importance will be legislated upon. And I think that's a very key takeaway. And I think it's very, very indicative of as to what may happen today.
Absolutely. We'll dwell a bit more in terms of what the government has got planned. Now, meanwhile, the opposition leaders in the Rajya Sabha are currently holding a meeting in the leader of the opposition, Ghulam Nabi Azad's chamber inside the parliament. The Kashmir issue is being taken up in the meeting. And here's what the Congress leader, Ghulam Nabi Azad, had to say ahead of the meet.
आज बड़ी शांति थी जम्मू कश्मीर में, सब कुछ हो रहा था, इलेक्शन हो रहे थे, पार्लियामेंट के इलेक्शन हो रहे थे, विधानसभाओं के इलेक्शन हो रहे थे, पंचायतों के इलेक्शन हो रहे थे, कॉरपोरेशन के इलेक्शन हो रहे थे। लोगों की पार्टिसिपेशन इलेक्शंस में इतनी हो रही थी कि जितनी कभी नहीं हुई। और बॉर्डर्स में शांति थी, स्कूल कॉलेजेस इंस्टीट्यूशन चल रहे थे, टूरिस्ट पर्यटक जा रहे थे, तो अचानक जैसे 2016 में रात के 8 बजे की अनाउंसमेंट हुई थी, माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी को सपना आया था कि डिमोनेटाइजेशन अनाउंस करनी है और उसका असर आज तक भी खत्म नहीं हो रहा है। इसी तरह फिर एक दफा माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी और गृह मंत्री जी को सपना आ गया कि कुछ कश्मीर में करना है, तो जो डिमोनेटाइजेशन की वजह से पूरा देश पीछे चला गया, आज जम्मू कश्मीर को फिर वो 70 साल पहले ले जाना चाहते हैं।
All right, so that was indeed the statement that was made by Ghulam Nabi Azad just a little while back, comparing this decision that is likely to be announced by the government with the decision of demonetization that was announced on the 8th of November back in the year 2016. And Karthike, if I can bring you in on this, Ghulam Nabi Azad and of course the leaders of the opposition are indicating that perhaps, this decision that could be announced with respect to Jammu and Kashmir will in fact take the state back by 70 years. Is there any kind of a basis for such a statement?
No, I don't think so. I completely disagree that any decision would take back the state to 70 years. What happened 70 years back? The Kashmir got invaded by Pakistan. In a very debatable way, the matter was taken to the United Nations. And, since then there has been a line of control. Kashmir, we have seen so many wars on Kashmir. The 47 Kashmir got invaded. The first war, again, in 60s, another part of Kashmir was taken away when the Chinese attacked India. Another war with Pakistan happened in the 60s. It was a status quo, but then in Tashkent we have to relinquish areas which were under our control. For example, the Haji Pir Pass had to be given back to the Pakistanis. Then Siachen happened because Pakistan was trying to encroach the heights, so India had to go and settle on the highest battlefield, the cold, icy ridges of Siachen, where the temperature drops to -60, -50 on any given day in winters, and in summer the temperature still hovers around -25. So
all right.
Kashmir has not been an easy place for India, but any change has to be seen in context of one issue. That valley of Kashmir is not Kashmir. We have to understand that generally the equation of Kashmir with the valley is a misnomer. One, the whole Kashmir is about multiple areas. You have Mirpur, you have Jammu, you have Ladakh, you have Batalik sector, you have Kargil sector, you have Turtuk. And if you look at the parts which have been occupied by the Pakistanis, you have Hazaras, you have Gilgits. So Kashmir is a very diverse place. It's a melting pot or a salad bowl, if you may call it, of religion, ethnicities, and various races.
Absolutely, indeed. And we're given to understand that the cabinet meeting has just concluded and Amit Shah has just left the cabinet meeting. This is the latest bit of information that is coming in terms of what's been happening. And my colleague Siddhant is standing by very patiently for us. Siddhant, if I can come to you on this, the cabinet meeting we're given to understand is over at this point of time. Is there any indication at all as to what has been discussed in the cabinet?
Well, no comments from New Delhi right now on as to what happened during the cabinet meeting, but there are certain reports which are coming that New Delhi might be looking towards changing the special status of the Indian state of Jammu and Kashmir with respect to the Indian Union. We know that Jammu and Kashmir has a special status when it comes to the Indian Constitution. This is something that has been on the agenda of the ruling BJP party for a pretty long time, but also the big concern of terrorism, cross-border terrorism emanating from Pakistan, given the fact that the Indian Army over the weekend gave evidence how Pakistani forces were trying to infiltrate through Kiran sector, and the bodies are still there of the Pakistani regular/terrorists who tried to infiltrate, about 5 to 7 in number. The bodies are still there because of the continuing firing. The Indian Army had requested Pakistani forces to take back the body, but it seems to be repetition of what happened in the Kargil. They haven't taken the bodies, so bodies still remain there. And we have seen how from Pakistan also there was a high-level meeting yesterday by Imran Khan, who chaired the national security meeting. And after the release, the line in the release clearly states that it seems that Islamabad is looking to create more trouble in the region, with Imran Khan even tweeting that there can be a strong retaliation or there can be some problem in the region, which clearly hints at some kind of problems or some kind of plan the generals in Rawalpindi might be planning. So two things right now on top of the mind here in New Delhi of everyone, especially the journalists who are waiting in front of the PMO.
Absolutely, indeed. That will be watching, keeping a very close watch on. Siddhant, do continue to stay with us. Meanwhile, Karthikeya, if I can bring you in on this now. The cabinet meeting has just concluded, but tell us what is generally done. So after the cabinet meeting, can we expect a statement now from the Home Minister?
No, there cannot be a statement as per the protocol. The cabinet has taken place at the Lok Kalyan Marg, which is the residence of the Prime Minister of India. Once the cabinet is done, it is imperative, as the parliament is in session, that the leaders will be informed.
Right.
Now, it entirely depends how they choose the house. Generally, the precedent is you should go to Lok Sabha first. But it entirely depends how they want to do it. Now, the news is pouring in that 11 a.m. it will be Rajya Sabha and 12 p.m. it will be Lok Sabha. But both are equal houses. It's just that the difference is in money bill, that the Lok Sabha has the right to pass the budget. Both are equal in their power. In fact, in some areas, Rajya Sabha has more powers. But the news which is pouring in right now is that probably Home Minister Amit Shah will make the statement in Rajya Sabha first, and then he will go to Lok Sabha. But I think what is of importance here is that in Rajya Sabha, anyhow, both houses have been issued whip for 5th and 7th.
Right.
But for 5th and 7th, which means that 6th, there is no whip. Which also means that today they want to pass something in Rajya Sabha itself. And before the matter will be taken up by any other party on Kashmir, which is the adjournment motion, a legislative agenda will be pushed. Now, what will that legislative agenda would be? One has to wait and see. I think it's going to be, I would say, completely different. Because for the first time, the matter will be introduced, discussed, public would be informed of it, and the discussion would start in the floor of the House, which means that there is some preparation. A lot of people will have to speak impromptu on this issue. Generally, such matters do not come up like that, whether it's development issue, whether it's amendment to a law, whatever it is. But will be of great interest and importance that the regular proceedings of Rajya Sabha has been suspended today for some very important bill to be taken up right after Amit Shah's introduction.
You know, that's interesting the way you're putting it, because this is, of course, very crucial. So the whip has been issued for the 5th and for the 7th. But considering the fact that an adjournment motion notice has been moved by the opposition, what takes precedence, this legislative work by the government or the adjournment motion?
I think in the Indian parliamentary tradition, Saleh, the position of the chair is supreme. So whatever the position the chair will take will be supreme. So in Lok Sabha, if Speaker decides that the decision is that there will be no discussion, and discussion will take place at 2 p.m. So the only thing which opposition can do is protest. But the decision of the Speaker will remain supreme. Even in Rajya Sabha, the chairman's decision is supreme. So chairman says, well, the discussion will take place at 5 p.m. after the legislation, but before that, there will be a legislative agenda. So the decision of the chairman will be supreme, but only thing which opposition can do under the parliamentary practice is stall, protest. But I will not make a guess about it as to what opposition parties are going to do in both houses today.
You know, latest information that is coming in, Karthikeya, is that all regular proceedings of the Rajya Sabha have been postponed. The discussion on the Jammu and Kashmir issue is to be carried out. There will be no question hour. There will be no 0 hour. So this in some ways is talking of measures that the government is in fact taking in a bid to try and push through a legislation that they want to. But at this point of time, we still are speculating whether it has to do with Jammu and Kashmir, considering as to what has been happening in the state so far.
No, absolutely, Saleh. The whole nation would be watching the proceedings of the Rajya Sabha. I think the only channel to be seen in India or globally is Rajya Sabha. The Rajya Sabha will be the most viewed channel in the world today, because Kashmir is a historic, issue, and Rajya Sabha is the official channel of the House, and that will be beamed and cut live. So probably all eyes would be glued in on Rajya Sabha from 11 a.m. onwards.
Okay, so I'll take one question with Siddhant, and then I'll.
That's the most important takeaway, given that we are 35 minutes away from the most historic speech.
Siddhant Sibil is still with us. Siddhant, we are given to understand that Home Minister Amit Shah has just now reached the Parliament. Now, you've been tracking the developments very closely. The government has remained completely tight-lipped in terms of what it intends to do today. But in terms of the information that is trickling in, there will be no question hour, no 0 hour. All regular proceedings of Rajya Sabha have been postponed. What are you picking up? What is the plan of the opposition now?
Well, I've been speaking to government sources here in New Delhi, and one thing they are saying that it will be a historic day. What they mean by historic day is something that we all should not speculate. Let the government talk about what they will be doing today. But in 30 minutes from now, we do expect an important announcement by the Home Minister of India inside the Rajya Sabha, inside the Parliament, and then, of course, in the Lok Sabha. But if we look at the history of Jammu and Kashmir, one of the key issues has been the special status. And the ruling party, BJP, is on the top of their agenda has been to remove this special status. No word whether this special status will be removed or not, but if it's removed, that could be an important historical milestone in the history of not only Jammu and Kashmir but also of India, because it's considered as the unfinished business of partition. So it will be merging the entire Jammu and Kashmir with India, giving the same rights as the rest of the states have. Remember, the Indian state of Jammu and Kashmir has its own special status, own set of laws, Ranbir Code, own constitution, own flag. If this all goes, this will be a historic development indeed for Kashmir and for the entire Indian state.
Absolutely, indeed. At this point of time, all of this is still under the realm of speculation, so we'll have to leave that. Thank you very much indeed, Siddhant Sibal, for joining us and getting us all those updates. And Karthikeya, if I can bring you in on this, the fact of the matter is we expect that some important legislation will be taken up, but there is also the criticism that was raised by members of the opposition. For instance, Derek O'Brien questioned, are we delivering pizzas or passing legislations, considering the pace at which the government has been pushing through important legislations. Do you think a similar kind of a criticism would also be levelled against the government for this legislation that the government of India wants to bring in?
See, these are debatable issues. There is merit that a lot of bills were passed. 28 bills were passed in both houses of the parliament, and they were not sent to the select committee. And not much time was given to the members of the House to go through the details. See, that is one criticism of the ruling dispensation, but that's a different issue altogether. Now, in this issue, what do you expect the government to do if the decision relates to national security? Right. Can there be a pre-discussion on an issue which has to do with national security? Was the detonation of nuclear device discussed by Indira Gandhi before Buddha smiling? Or did Atal Bihari Vajpayee discuss the detonation of nuclear device with the Congress party? No, absolutely not. Were the contours of the Indian and the American negotiations open to public when Bush and Dr. Manmohan Singh met? No, it doesn't happen like that in politics. You know, certain things take precedent. And the most important precedent, which is, I think, the most draconian but the most important part of the law, is public order and public good. Public order and public good allows a lot of powers to the government to make way for the decisions. But yes, the criticism will take place in context of the detention of the elected leaders. All right.
Do continue to stay on with us, Karthikeya, because we'll have to take a short commercial break at this point of time. But a very crucial speech is to be made by Home Minister Amit Shah. He'll be speaking in Rajya Sabha in just half an hour from now. We'll be building up to that on the other side of this short break. Stay tuned to WION.